What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video. Today we're going to be going over what I think Planet Coaster 2 needs in regards of coaster types, and basically not including the ones we already have, but the ones I feel like they could add to the second game for marketing, and basically what new coasters they could add to the game, whether it be through DLC, the base game. Hopefully a lot of them are mostly in the base game, but these are the ones that I think are very possible, but there's some in here that potentially are not possible, but we'll see. But going into it, we're going to get started right away into the Mach Extreme Spinning Coaster. Now, they have the Mach Family Spinning Coaster in the game already through one of the DLCs, but they don't have the Extreme Spinner like Time Traveler or Ride to Happiness, which this is my most requested one that I want to see in the game. I absolutely love the Mach Extreme Spinning coaster trains. They are absolutely incredible, and I think it would be such a cool addition. And if it had realistic physics on how the trains spin, and also give us an option maybe to have the onboard braking system like Time Traveler that doesn't allow it to go crazy spinning, but I think it'd be a great addition and be such a cool model to have in the game just in general, because it needs to be in there. The second one is going to be by RMC, and that's the RMC Raptor, which I don't know why we never got this in the first game. We already have the RMC T-Rex, which doesn't even exist yet in real life, but we never got the RMC Raptor, the single rail, which I think obviously just it's a no-brainer. This one's got to be in Planet Coaster 2. Even if it's in a DLC, it needs to be in the game. I personally think it should be in the base game, but RMC Raptor is a no-brainer because, I mean, we need an RMC Raptor. Next is an Intamin Blitz coaster, kind of like the newest gen Intamin Blitzes slash multi-launch coasters, kind of like Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. This is such a good model that I think it definitely deserves a spot in Planet Coaster. You can kind of create it in game now, but I think it needs its own dedicated coaster type with the actual Intamin trains and everything. Right now you can kind of create it if you use the Mach vector trains kind of, but I'd like to see like the actual Intamin model trains in there as well. I think it'd be a good idea. Next, we're going to go on to Vacoma, and obviously we need a Vacoma Tilt coaster. This was in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, so there's no reason it shouldn't be in Planet Coaster, and honestly I'm kind of disappointed it wasn't in Planet Coaster 1, but we're going to start seeing these coasters pop up now. Obviously there's a new one being built in Codaland with Circuit Breaker, and I think we could see that next gen Tilt coaster come to Planet Coaster 2 as well. I think it would be a great fit, and obviously, again, since older games had it, I definitely think it needs to be in Planet Coaster 2 for sure. Also, we need a Vacoma Next Gen, kind of like Phoenix. I think that would be also a good addition. Just have a nice Vacoma Next Gen coaster. You know, the current, or I guess you could call it current gen, but you know, these new Vacoma coasters are apparently very, very good, which kind of gets me into the next one, which is a Vacoma Flying coaster, kind of like FLY or Fly at Fantasialand. I think this would obviously be such a good addition, and of course having a next-gen flying coaster by Vacoma is something I think a lot of people want to see to begin with, since Fly is so cool. And such a good ride. Of course, I've never ridden it, but I think it definitely needs to be in Planet Coaster 2. Next is a Vacoma Family Suspended Coaster, kind of like you see Dragonflyer at Dollywood. These coasters are definitely a nice addition, and we need a nice family suspended coaster in the game, and that's a very popular one that I think would look good in Planet Coaster 2 as well. And then rounding out with Vacoma, I think we could use a Vacoma Family Launch Coaster, kind of like Big Bear Mountain, something along the lines like that, would be a very good addition as well. Next is S40 Free Spin. Obviously, I think this should definitely be in the game. In fact, I'm surprised it wasn't in Planet Coaster 1, but you see a lot of these popping up in a lot of Six Flags parks and everything, and obviously I think it's a no-brainer. Of course, do have an S40 Free Spin coaster, one where you can create the exact same type of layout or make some weird custom layout out of it as well. So staying with SNS, I think we could see an SNS Air Launch Coaster, something like either Powder Keg, maybe Dodonpa, maybe even both of those types. You know, it's just something with a compressed air launch would be very, very nice to see. Of course, Powder Keg's kind of like a a very unique ride. It uses like S&S scream and swing restraints, and it's very interesting. But I still think it'd be a cool idea to have something like that in the game, and just have a coaster that has a compressed air launch. Obviously, like Dodonpa would be a very different type of ride, but you know, like I said, either one or the other or both, I think would be the best case scenario, as we got both. So kind of going back into some classic rides, I think going back to Pinfari, a Pinfari Zyklon would actually be kind of cool to have, just to have something kind of old school and something you could, if you wanted to make more of a classic park, we could have some of those classic rides. Staying in the classic theme, I think we need like a generic Wild Mouse coaster, something that we don't really have right now, something that doesn't spin. We have the spinning Wild Mouse, but I think we should have like a normal Wild Mouse with the normal trains from back in the day as well. We have a wooden Wild Mouse, but we never got like a regular steel Wild Mouse, so that'd be another good one to put in there as well. I also think we need an Aero Mine Train. I know we have like a Vacoma Mine Train right now, but I think an Aero Mine Train would definitely benefit as well. Something like Thunderation at Silver Dollar City, or Adventure Express, or, you know, just some of those other classics that you see a lot in all the other parks and such. Something that has like the steel track with the wooden supports, I think would be very, very nice touch, because the Vacoma one has like steel supports, and it's more based off of like Expedition Everest, which is kind of a different type of mine train. But anyways, going back to mock rides a little bit, I think a mock Power Splash would also be a great addition to the game as well, or in DLC, of course. Again, these could also be in DLCs, and I'd be fine with it as well. But a mock Power Splash would be a very awesome ride to be able to create in our parks. I think some people have created it with the mock water coaster before, but yeah, it's just I want something that just is meant to be built the way you would see in real life. But going into Premier rides, I think an LIM launch coaster would be very, very nice. Kind of something like Flight of Fear or Poltergeist or whatnot. Something that has an LIM launch would be good, and to have those trains would also be really nice. I think going into that, you could also do a launch shuttle loop like Mr. Freeze. Something that we need more shuttle coasters in general, and I think you should have a shuttle option on all the coasters, which we'll be getting into another video where I go over kind of like the coaster, the different coaster features. But I think everything should allow for a shuttle loop. But if we don't, I think we should get a Premier Ride shuttle loop. What that allows us to do, like shuttle based rides, you know, kind of like Mr. Freeze, where you can launch it and then it can come back to the station. If you're very creative, you can kind of do it in Planet Coaster 1, but I want something that's dedicated where you can actually create shuttle modes. And I think some transfer tracks in the station would be cool, so you can run multiple trains on them, kind of like Mr. Freeze. I think that would actually be kind of cool. Kind of a one that I don't expect to be in here because it was very, very limited and very there weren't many built, and that's a Premier Rides Liquid Coaster, kind of like what Buzzsaw Falls was at Silver Dollar City. I think that'd be kind of a cool idea, just kind of a throwback to some of these classic rides that even if they were failures and didn't last long, I think it is kind of cool to kind of go back and see some of those classic rides that were very revolutionary at the time, probably too much ahead of its time, honestly. But staying in Premier Rides, I think we should also see a Skyrocket 2. You can kind of do a Skyrocket 2 in Planet Coaster 1, but I think on a dedicated track type would actually be very, very nice, to where you can create one a lot easier for Planet Coaster, and be able to do like swing launches where you can go back and forth in the station. Just have some more flexibility with that would be very, very nice to have. Next, I think, is an interesting one that I think would be kind of cool, and that's an Alpine Coaster. One that, you know, you see these a lot, and like, you know, kind of not really in theme parks, but kind of like in some cities, you know, like Pigeon Forge has a lot of Alpine coasters, and, you know, that go down like a hillside and everything. I think that'd be really kind of cool, just to have that in there, and honestly. And also, Zamperla Valere, kind of like those weird, uncomfortable flying coasters that you see, I think would also be just a nice touch, just so you can torture your guests. I think it'd be a very, very nice touch to have one of those. So going into B&M, this is going to be kind of my last category, is B&M Hyper Staggered Seating. So kind of like how you see on Diamondback and Kings Island. I think we could see like a hyper model that just has the staggered seating would be really, really nice. As well. And then also rounding off B&M, I think would be a B&M Surf Coaster, obviously like Pipeline at SeaWorld Orlando, would also be a really, really good addition to Planet Coaster 2 as well, if they want to go into like some newer models that are starting to pop up. And I think it would be really, really cool to have it in Planet Coaster 2. So I'm sure there's a lot of coaster types you guys want to see in the game itself when we hopefully eventually get Planet Coaster 2, but I'm sure I missed a ton, and because there's just so many models out there that you could do. But these are some of the noteworthy ones that I just kind of thought of that I think would definitely, I would be happy with if at least 3/4 of these would be in the game. Heck, I'd be happy if the Mock Extreme Spinner got in and nothing else. You know, that's the one I want the most. But let me know in the comments down below what kind of ones that I missed, and maybe ones that you would like to see in Planet Coaster 2 as well. Let's make sure we get the word out to Frontier which ones we want to see, because I think Frontier sometimes checks my channel out once in a while. So, be sure to let them know in the comment section which ones you want to see in the next game. You know, what kind of models you'd like to see in DLC, such like that. Stuff like that. But anyways, that's gonna about do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great day, and even cooler tomorrow. Thanks so much, and goodbye.